It is the 3rd of September 2025 and I'm standing outside Fredensborg's castle in Fredensborg. It's a beautiful morning. The time is 9:30 and this is the place where I finished my last walk in Denmark. And today I will continue. I will walk from this castle to another castle, to Frederiksborg's castle in Hilleröd. It's about 20 kilometers. But let's go on while it's still nice weather. So if you're interested, just come along. Fredensborg Store Kro is a historic inn with royal neighbors located right next to Fredensborg's castle. Store Kro was built in 1723 by order of King Frederick IV, with the aim of accommodating the royal guests that Fredensborg's castle was not equipped to receive. Around 1800, an era in the inn's history was over. Not everyone in the royal family liked using Fredensborg's castle, and the connection to the court disappeared. Fortunately for the inn's existence, it became fashionable among the bourgeoisie to go on inn stays in the countryside. The scenic areas also attracted some of the great minds in Danish cultural life. Among them was the world-famous philosopher and writer Søren Kierkegaard. In the summer of 1908, the entire building burned down as a result of a chimney fire. It was not until the mid-1930s that the inn once again experienced its heyday, when Frans Christensen took over the operation. With its special atmosphere and high standard, the place quickly gained a new regular audience, and throughout the 20th century, several celebrities visited Store Kro, which has, among other things, arranged fashionable weddings and other parties. We have reached something called Fredensborgshusene, the Fredensborg's houses, and we're going to walk in here and take a look at that. Fredensborgshusene is a residential development located in Fredensborg and built in 1963 and is known for its unique architectural design and its historical significance as a housing solution for returning Danes. The project was founded by the independent institute Fredensborgshusene, which was founded by the association Danes Worldwide with the aim of creating housing for returning Danes. The Fredensborg houses are notable for their architectural design, which combines functionality with aesthetic appeal. The housing development consists of various house types, including courtyard houses and terrace house. A characteristic feature of these homes is their angular shape and integrated courtyards, which create a harmonious balance between the private and the communal. The Fredensborg houses was declared worthy of preservation and listed in 1987 due to their historical and architectural significance. The decision was made to preserve this unique example of Danish architecture and as a tribute to John Utsson's visionary design. We are leaving Fredensborgshusen and we are leaving the city of Fredensborg. Now we have a few kilometers to walk to next place where we're going to stop. From here we have another view of Fredensborgshusen, Fredensborg's houses. And from this side it looks a bit nicer, I must say. So we have left the big road and turned into the forest. That's nice. It's a bit more quiet here. And we are back in the King's North Zealand National Park that we also passed by the last time we were walking in Denmark. We are going to follow it for a few kilometers and sooner or later we're going to reach a little church up here where we're going to stop for a few minutes. On my way to my first stop, and that's Grönholt Kirke, the church of Grönholt, and I can see it now just about 300 meters away. And when I get there, then I've made about 5 kilometers. So I'm going to take a short break and take some pictures of the church. Well, I have walked 5.8 kilometers and I reached Grönholt Kirke. Now I'm going to take a little break here. There's a bench here outside the church and I'm going to sit down, take some water and a little bit of chocolate before I continue. I have about 14 kilometers left to Hilleröd. Grönholt Church was originally a small boulder building consisting of a nave and a square choir with a flat ceiling. The chancel arch is narrow and semicircular. Later walls were built and a substantial tower and a porch with a gable of red monk stones were added. Well, as usual, let's try and see if the church is open. No luck. If we had come in, we could have seen the altarpiece, which is a painting by Gottfried Rump, the presentation at the temple, donated in 1843 by Christian VIII. There is also an old deacon's chair from 1569. Above the vault it can be seen that the church, while it still had a flat ceiling, was richly decorated with murals in a Romanesque style, including a frieze above the chancel arch where Christ and the 12 apostles were painted under the round arches with columns. Queen Margaret II often comes to the church services on Sundays when she stays at Fredensborg Castle. Grönholt is a village in Grönholt parish, Lynge-Kronborg county. In 1682, Grönholt consisted of Grönholt Church, 10 farms and 2 houses with land, a total of 164.4 acres of cultivated land. From the town of Grönholt it is by road approximately 3 kilometers to Fredensborg in the north and about 3 kilometers to Hilleröd in the west. In 1934 the village received a railway station in connection with the Nordbanan railway. The railway station is located some distance from the village and has not had any influence on the village development. In 1940, Grönholt airfield was built immediately south of the village, which was initially a grass runway. In 1962, the asphalt runway was established, and from the mid-1950s until the mid-1980s, there were many flying activities at the field, including an aircraft repair shop, flying school, and aircraft production site. Today the airfield is still used for club flying, and a small number of local companies use the airfield's facilities. Well, I leave the village of Grönholt behind me and continue on my way. Next stop will be after 10 kilometers. I will try to take another little break and eat the sandwich I've brought with me. And after that I'm going to Store Dyrehave in Hilleröd. Sorry, I will talk more about that when we get there. So we're out of the forest and back to, I don't know if I would call it civilization, but among a lot of sheep here. Ja, jag förstår. Han som är så stor, han ska ju inte vara bange för får.
Nej, men han kender dem ikke rigtigt.
Nej.
Så vi rider ikke så tit den her tur.
Så smuk hest.
Ja.
Ja.
Han er sød og smuk.
Hej hej.
Han er mere tryg ved mennesker, end han er ved.
Ja. Ja. Så ja.
Ja, det er rigtigt. Og der er en også sådan... Han gør ikke noget.
Må man
Ja,
klappe?
sagtens.
Hej. Hej. Ja.
Han er absolut fredelig.
Ja. Åh, hvad
Mit
skønt.
barnebarn på 4 har reddet ham, siden hun var 4, nu er hun 9.
Ja, ja.
Så han er meget fredelig.
We will continue for a few kilometers and then we will take a short break and get something to eat. I have walked 9.5 kilometers and I've reached Hilleröd commune, the municipality of Hilleröd. But I still have a few kilometers into the town itself. So we have reached Hilleröd after 11 kilometers, but we still have about 9 kilometers to walk before we finished our trip. After all, we are going to the big castle in Hilleröd. So we have walked exactly 12 kilometers and we have reached Hilleröd Store Dyrehave. That means the big deer park in Hilleröd. We'll see if we can find somewhere to sit down here and take a little bit to eat and something to drink. Store Dyrehave, the big deer park, is a forest area south of Hilleröd in North Zealand. Store Dyrehave was enclosed by an earthen dike in 1628 by Christian IV in connection with the construction of Frederiksborg Castle, and the purpose was to keep a population of deer in. Christian V created the characteristic star shapes in 1670 to 80 for the purpose of parforce hunting. Store Dyrehave is since 2018 part of the Royal North Zealand National Park. Well, I must say that I'm a bit lost because my GPS has lost the route. Probably it's because of the dense forest. And there are a lot of soldiers running around in the forest and they are shooting all around me. So I don't really know what to do, but I think I'm going to go that way. I'll try that and see what happens. Well, it seems like I'm back on the route again. This is not where I have planned to walk, but it will take me to the same place, and that's nice. I had to turn around because I should have gone down to the right over here. I think so anyway. Let's see. I have walked 14 kilometers and I have about 6-7 kilometers to go, and I would like to sit down and take a break, but it's not too far, too long distance into Hilleröd proper, so I think I walk on and see if I can find a place there where I maybe can get a glass of cold beer. That would be nice because it's quite hot today actually. After 15.5 kilometers totally, now I'm out of the great deer park. I will continue along the street for just a short while and then I will go into another park before I get into Hilleröd. I have walked 17 kilometers, and since I found a little bench here in the park, I have decided to sit down and take a short break and get some energy in my body. I have about 3 kilometers left to walk over to the castle and the castle garden, and after that then I will find a beer. Well, that was nice. A sandwich and a little Coca-Cola. So now I have some new power in my body, and I can continue. I have about 3.8 kilometers to go before I finish this little hike. We have reached the main square in Hilleröd, and now for the first time we can see the castle Frederiksborg on the other side of the little lake. We're going to go round it up to the Baroque garden and then down to the castle. After 19.7 kilometers we have reached the Baroque garden at Frederiksborg Castle. Now we will take a walk up through the garden and back again before we go over to the castle, which is on the other side of the lake. Across the lake from the castle is the magnificent palace garden, laid out in Italian Baroque style between 1720 and 1725 by J.C. Krieger. It lays in terraces with pools and canals. The gardens represented the finishing touch in the creation of Frederiksborg Castle. Christian IV had his own garden, but in 1720 J.C. Krieger was commissioned to create a new castle garden. The pleasure palace was demolished to make way for a stunning Baroque garden, which, as the style of the ages dictated, was symmetrically constructed with perfectly straight hedges. From the end of the 18th century, the Baroque garden became run down and was not recreated until 1990s. The lowest plateaus in the garden contained the royal monograms for Frederick IV, Frederick V, Christian VI and Margaret II, designed in closely trimmed hedges surrounded by dome-shaped box trees. These are the four monarchs under whom the complex has existed, from Frederick IV creation of the garden to its recreation in Queen Margaret's time. We are leaving the garden of Frederiksborg Castle and instead going down to take a closer look at the castle itself. Frederiksborg Castle is a palatial complex in Hilleröd, Denmark. It was built as a royal residence for King Christian IV of Denmark-Norway in the early 17th century, replacing an older castle acquired by Frederick II and becoming the largest Renaissance residence in Scandinavia. After 20 kilometers we have reached Frederiksborg Castle in Hilleröd, the goal for our walk this day. There is a beautiful museum inside, the National Museum of Denmark, but we are not going in this to see that. There is not time for it today. Have to get a train back to Elsinore, but it's well worth a visit if you ever come to Hilleröd. Frederiksborg Castle was the first Danish castle to be built inland. All previous castles had been on the coast or close to ports, as the sea had traditionally been the principal means of travel. It was also the first to be built for purely recreational purposes rather than for defense. Its location in Hilleröd led to the development of vastly improved roads, initially reserved for the king. Kongevejen, the King's Way, linking Frederiksborg with Copenhagen was completed in 1588. Frederick II's son Christian, who was born there, became very attached to the castle as a child. Nevertheless, when reigning as Christian IV, 1588 to 1648, he decided to have it completely rebuilt in the Flemish and Dutch Renaissance style. The old buildings was demolished in 1599, and the Flemish architect Hans van Steenwinkel the Elder was charged with planning the new building. The main four-story building with its 3 wings was completed around 1610, but works continued on the chapel until 1618. The entire complex was finished around 1620, becoming the largest Renaissance building in Scandinavia. The main Renaissance building built by Christian IV was thus completed in under 10 years, an astonishing accomplishment at the time, although there were additions until early 1620. In 1659, during the Second Northern War, the castle was occupied by the Swedish forces, who took most of its artworks as war reparations. During the Swedish occupation, the Queen of Sweden, Hedvig Eleonora of Holstein-Gottorp, used the palace and hunted in the woods around it with the English envoy to Sweden. After a serious fire in 1859, the castle was rebuilt on the basis of old plans and paintings. Thanks to public support and the brewer J.C. Jacobsen of Carlsberg Brewery, its apartments were fully restored and reopened to the public as the Danish Museum of National History in 1882. The Neptune fountain, designed by Adrian de Vries, is considered to be the castle's sculptural masterpiece. It was created from 1620 to 1622 to stand on the castle's forecourt, symbolizing Denmark's position as a leading Nordic power in the early 17th century. The large bronze figures were cast in Prague, where the Vries was employed as a sculptor by the Imperial Palace. Symbolizing the Danish king, the sea god Neptune is the central figure, while tritons piping the seashells decorate the outer basin. The current fountain is a copy of the original, which was dismantled by the Swedish troops in 1659 and taken to Sweden as war reparations following the Treaty of Roskilde in 1658. The reassembled fountain now stands in the gardens of Drottningholm Palace outside Stockholm. The copy we can see here was made by Heinrich Hansen in 1888 with founding from J.C. Jacobsen. So we have reached our destination and we finished this little walk here. I will continue at another time. I will continue on, try to get down to Roskilde, but that is about 3 days walk, about 20 kilometers each day. But that will be next year at the spring, when the spring begins. But now I am going back to the station, up to the station, and taking the train up to Elsinore and then home. Thank you very much for the company. See you at another time.